Whatever a Spider Can, a Marvel fanfiction written on AO3 by Amine. The link for this fanfiction will be in the description box below, so I encourage you all to go check it out. Also, this channel is nearly at 1,000 subscribers, and hitting that milestone would mean a lot to me, so if you like my videos, please subscribe. Tony had seen a lot of things in his life, from the strange to the ordinary, from the horrible to the beautiful. What he didn't expect to see that morning was Steve Rogers strung up in Peter's web fluid, hanging in the middle of the hallway. He froze, nearly dropping his coffee mug as he made eye with the humiliated but still stubborn-looking Steve, who was hanging sideways and had definitely lost the fight with the webbing. Not a word, Stark. There were 1,000 words running through Tony's head at that moment, all of them fighting for a chance to come out of his mouth. But he settled for the most reasonable option. Friday, is Peter around? He's waiting for you in the lab, boss. Good, patch him through. They waited a moment, staring at each other, until Peter's cheerful voice came on. Good morning, Mr. Stark. Are we going to work in the lab together today? Yeah, soon, kid. There's a giant web in the middle of my hallway. There was a pause, and Tony could hear Peter tinkering with something in the background. Oh yeah, I've got a new web formula I've been trying out. Hopefully it's stronger now and can even hold Captain America. I thought I'd set up a trap and see if I caught anything. Tony nearly snorted, while Steve was slowly closing his eyes and opened them again. Well, you did, kid. The little spider caught a great big fly. Really? I didn't think it'd actually work. He sounded so incredulous that Tony let out a bark of laughter, and Steve's face turned a deep shade of red. Just looking at it, Tony could only imagine how very obvious the web had been before Steve had gotten caught up in it. That Peter had caught Cap, of all people, was one of the best things to ever happen to him, and he was never going to let it go. Please explain, though, why you decided to set up your little trap in the hallway of my compound, kid. Call it pest control, Mr. Stark. The huge grin on his face came through loud and clear in the tone of his voice. Tony couldn't stop his snort, or how he burst out laughing afterwards. He nearly dropped his coffee again, and Steve's face was turning even redder, which made Tony laugh all the more. It was obvious, if he hadn't been Captain Watch Your Language America, he'd be saying things that would make a sailor cry. Tony was really never going to let this go. Steve's eyes closed again, and his mouth moved in a way that was probably him counting to 10, for he opened them and spoke. Son, while I appreciate how clever you are, please get me out of this. There was a sound of something hitting the floor, which was followed by a startled squeak. Captain, I didn't actually... Tony cut him off, as his laughs had died down enough and he'd regained control of his voice. No, kid, we should really make sure that this stuff holds. It wouldn't do much good if it's strong but doesn't last. A long silence followed, and Tony could just see Peter fretting over leaving Captain America literally hanging or indulging in Tony's whims. Luckily, though, Tony had the advantage of being Peter's favourite, and he showed as much as he gave a grin to the horrified-looking Steve. Well, if I mixed it correctly, it should last about 3 hours, and the web I set up about 45 minutes ago, so Mr. Beauty and Grace is about 2 hours to hang out. Sounds like a fantastic plan to me. Wait, Tony, you can't. Peter, you have to let me go. Hey. Tony ignored him as he turned around and went back down the hallway, grinning from ear to ear, knowing it was going to be the best day ever. He made a mental note to give Peter anything he wanted in exchange for such a perfect gift.